Okay, we're making bunny treats dressed as bunny. This recipe seems too good to be true. I don't have a dehydrator, but I really like the idea of a more shelf-stable, handmade treat that's like a simple one ingredient. So the only ingredient in these recipes for beef jerky is beef. So I have a pound of beef. I turned on my oven to its very lowest bake setting, which is 170 degrees. If you can get it down to 130, that's best. Or if you have a dehydrator, then like that's best, but I don't. So I'm just gonna let this do its thing in the oven at a very low temperature for a very low time. Very long time. Low time? Long time, low temp. Slow and low. Bubba, these are for you. Can you see her? You can't see her. Do you see the Bubba now? The Bubba! Do you see that I look like you? Yes, we are self-similar. Okay, back to meat on a sheet. Meat on a sheet. This is literally so easy. And I bet you could probably like add a little cheese or a little something else. The last treats I made were really simple too. Just meat, same beef and eggs. Oh, you know what I want to do? Egg and Parmesan cheese. But I'm going to put foil down. If you have parchment paper, I'd recommend doing that instead. But I don't, so I'm just going to do foil. Tin foil, bunny. Tin foil. Makes scary sound. Oh, there you are. You're still there. Okay. All right, and now we can like just plop the meat in, and we're gonna squish it super flat, like 1/8 of an inch flat, if we can. I think that's the idea. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Wanted to make sure it still smelled good. I mean, like not bad, like not off, like not gone bad. It's like one day past its sell by date. So I'm squishing it as flat as I possibly can, like 1/8 of an inch is what they recommend, and then I'll try and like make it into a little square. Just raw ground beef. I use the high fat variety because I think it gets like sticks together more if it has more fat in it. I think you can probably use a rolling pin. Another thing we don't have here. I don't cook that much. Oh, my oven just said it's preheated and ready for treat bacon. Baking. Treat bacon. Okay, hands have been washed. Bunny is waiting patiently. You're gonna have to wait for some hours. And now we're supposed to take a blunt knife and score it into little squares so that it'll be easy to break once it's nice and dried out and cooked and everything. We've just got like a little butter knife, and I'm just gonna score it into like 1-inch squares is what I'm doing. Because I kind of want to be able to use them for like training treats and not just like, here's after we go for a walk, like piece of jerky to nibble on or something. I imagine I could still probably break them up since it's like ground beef and not other types of beef. What's not ground beef? Solid beef? What's the opposite of ground beef? Whole beef? Whole solid beef? Beef steak? I don't know. Strip loin? I don't know. Anyways, I'll show you what the scoring looks like once I've done it. So I'm not going like all the way through. I'm just sort of like making lines on it so it'll break. It's kind of cool looking. It's also kind of satisfying to make this little grid. Buns. You see I got these like little lines in it now? Yum. And now I'm gonna put it in the oven at 170 because that's as low as mine goes for I think like 10 hours. Do you wanna say goodbye? Oh, good girl. Okay, now we'll really see you in 10 hours. Okay, so it has been 8 hours that the meat has been in the oven. And it's much too hot now for me to be in the bunsy onesie. But we're gonna take it out and see what it looks like. And the next steps, I believe, are to break it up at the scores, like let it cool, break it up at the scores, drain it if there's any like grease, and then put it back in the oven for like another 4 hours. So that's the direction we're headed. Okay. Well, there's no like grease to drain, which is awesome. Can barely see the scores. It's a little squishy. But yeah, let's see what we can do. Do, 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 do. Okay. Bloop. And I don't think it would like break at the scores because it's still kind of squishy. So I'll like, I don't know, like chop it. I don't know. This is basically turning out a lot like the last recipe I did, but without cheese and eggs, which is fine. They are great. Bunny loves them. This is easier, except for it takes like a lot longer. So now, they're cut in slices. Now we're gonna cut them in the other direction, along the scored lines. I think these are still gonna be like a little bit too big for training purposes. So I might cut them down because really dogs just need a taste of whatever you're feeding them. You don't want them to get full. The recipe I read said that these are shelf stable for like 3 weeks out of the fridge and for like double that in the fridge, which is a pretty good time. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Definitely easier than like rolling the logs like I was doing in the last vid. Do, do, rolling the meat. We're rolling the meat. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Rolling, rolling, rolling. So embarrassing. Oh my god. Why am I like this? That was pretty labor intensive, I feel like. Yeah, I don't think it's really necessary to score them, at least not the way I did it. I don't know if maybe you use it in a dehydrator, you'd need to score them because they get stiffer quicker, but you can just use a knife, that works. Now we're gonna put them back on the tray, and we're gonna slow and low them for like another bunch of hours. Okay, they're not too hot. Let's see what Bunny thinks. Do you want to try this? It's literally just beef. You liked it, didn't you? Okay, so put them back in the oven. Okay, it's not too hot anymore. And I really don't think that, I think 4 hours seems like a bit much. Probably would be shelf stable for longer if we did, but I don't mind refrigerating them. Yeah, anyways, I'll check back in when they're done. Okay, so update. I got in bed last night and was like just about 2 minutes away from falling asleep before I remembered that these baddies were still in the oven, but they came out great. Like, they do kind of look like jerky, just one ingredient. Bunny loves them. I mean, they're kind of an all-day process with the oven on, but yeah, they turned out great. They're like little beef jerky squares, and they're shelf-stable. They're gonna last for a really long time, and I probably should have doubled the recipe. I used 1 pound of beef. I used 1 pound of beef. But next time I'd probably do 2 or even more. There you go. Beef jerky. Yum. Ooh.